Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Karin Helmstedt.
Greetings from Berlin and welcome to our highlights edition, looking back on the best stories of the past week, which included the following. Fashion statement, how designer Jean Paul Gaultier has made his mark. Locked in love, couples in Germany are using padlocks to show their commitment. Downhill adventure, the Pyrenees in Andorra are a paradise for speed riders. Well, it's that season again. The Eurovision Song Contest is coming up in May, and Germany has chosen its contestant in the qualifying home event. Cascada is a dance act whose following outside of Germany is actually bigger than at home, as they've had #1 hits in Britain, Sweden, France and the Netherlands. But now is their chance to change that and be a home favourite.
Tonight we can be glorious. We are young.
This is the voice that will be representing Germany at this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Natalie Horler, frontwoman of dance music group Cascada. The winning song, Glorious, triumphed on Thursday in a field of 12 acts. The singer was stunned when the winners were announced.
Wow, I'm speechless. I never expected the crowd to stand up and dance along. We're used to doing dance music and entertaining people, so it was great to see them get up out of their seats. It gives me a huge boost of energy when people react like that.
Cascada are a trio, but Natalie Horler is the star. She takes the stage some 150 times a year. But two other people behind the scenes are also part of the act. Manuel Reuter, alias DJ Manian, is one of the two producers. Every weekend, he tests out which beats and sounds fill the dance floors at the clubs. The other producer is Jan Pfeiffer, alias Janu. This studio in Cologne is where he does his songwriting and arrangements.
We lock ourselves in the studio and try to whip something up, like chefs. Natalie serves the finished product, kind of. But it's Natalie who represents the act and ultimately us. Cascada is first and foremost Natalie.
The songstress was born in Bonn to British parents. Her father is a famous jazz trombonist who got her interested in music at an early age. After graduating from high school, Natalie worked in a jeans store and a cocktail bar, while she honed her skills as a studio singer. In 2002, she met Janu and Manian and hasn't looked back since. Cascada's very first single, Miracle, charted in the British top 10. No mean feat. The real breakthrough came in 2006 with a cover version of Maggie Riley's Every Time We Touch. The single catapulted Cascada to #2 in Britain and also the top 10 in the US.
Every Time We Touch was crazy. It helped us strike a chord with young people and in the clubs. And it also gave us a huge boost and laid the foundation for further success.
In 2009, Cascada scored another big hit with Evacuate the Dance Floor. In Britain, the single even bumped Michael Jackson from the #1 spot. Cascada have a truly global following. Worldwide, the trio have already sold over 30 million copies. On Facebook, they have 1.7 million fans, giving them the thumbs up for the Eurovision Song Contest.
We're lucky to have a fan base in Europe. I hope the boys and girls out there will vote for us. They're Cascada fans, but you still need to put in the work and do a good job. Hopefully the audience will like the song, and then we'll see.
Germany's big hope for Malmö is Cascada with Glorious.
It's time to let yourself go. Why don't we just let it show?
Will the songstress be reveling in the glory come the final of the Eurovision Song Contest? We won't know until May 18th.
Well, he's the celebrated enfant terrible of French fashion, even though he's already 60 years old. But very few designers can exude his degree of boyishness and still be taken seriously. Well, that wasn't always the case, as the critics were decidedly shocked by many of John Paul Gaultier's fledgling works. From haute couture to pret-à-porter to perfumes in signature bottles. He has done it all. And if a retrospective of his work might take some by surprise, well, you're not alone, as we found out in Rotterdam.
Rotterdam is paying tribute to John Paul Gaultier. Nods to his trademark Breton stripe and corsets have cropped up across the city to coincide with the retrospective at the city's Kunsthal. The seminal designer was at the exhibition opening. At first, he had misgivings about the project.
I was thinking no, yes, because I am not dead. And after when I saw the team and like that, I say, yes, we can have a good adventure, something new and something very interesting and a nice adventure.
The show is indeed an adventure, a real trip through Gaultier's defining fashion moments. The show comprises 140 original items and sketches culled from more than 30 years' work.
Hello, bonjour, I am Jean Paul Gaultier. I am very happy to be here in Rotterdam in the Kunsthal.
Rare specimens are on display. These punky outfits are from Gaultier's first collection in 1976. Skirts for men are one of his trademarks. This may be the world's most famous corset, the one he designed for Madonna's Blonde Ambition tour in 1990. Conservatives were appalled by the outfit and by the show. Corsets have long been central to the Gaultier look, iconic pieces that have made fashion history.
In the exhibition, everything is done thematically, so you have works from the 1970s, 1980s, 90s, 2000s, and everything is mixed together, but you cannot say what is from when, because all the pieces are so timeless, because it's a designer who initiates the trends, it's not someone who follows them.
Jean Paul Gaultier was born in a suburb of Paris in 1952. The first corset he fashioned was for his teddy bear Nana. His grandmother was a major influence.
She was telling me that when she was younger, so at the beginning of last century, she was taking a little, she has her corset, not finished to put, and she was taking some vinegar, and with the contraction of the stomach with the vinegar, at that time, she has to lace it up.
Gaultier did not study fashion, he taught himself. As a teenager, he was an assistant to Pierre Cardin. He's credited with pioneering innerwear as outerwear and championing ethnic and gender-bending fashion. Some say his clothes are unwearable, others adore them.
He's very inventive and very rigorous. He makes women look both feminine and a little wild. I like that a lot.
Gaultier likes to stir things up with irreverent, even exhibitionist creations. He sends the Virgin Mary with baby down the runway, or rock heavyweight Beth Ditto. And he distills a wedding dress to near invisibility.
When you look at Gaultier's fashion, how generous and open it was, I think it's a portrait of society. It's almost a world we wish we could live in, because everybody was welcome on his catwalk. whatever your age, size, body shape, or skin color, or sexuality is, you know, it doesn't make any difference, and there is no minorities in his world.
His creations figure in ballets and in the world of pop. He's designed costumes for several films, including Luc Besson's The Fifth Element. The designer is extremely productive, and at 60, still at the top of his game.
I am very lucky because I am doing something I love. You know, it's my passion, that work. So maybe it comes from that, I suppose.
John Paul Gaultier seemed at ease among his works at the Rotterdam retrospective, and despite those initial doubts, very much alive.
Well, this past week saw Valentine's Day, when many people spoiled their soulmates with flowers, chocolates and jewelry to celebrate the day devoted to love. But we looked into a fashionable gift that costs only a few euros at the hardware store, but it packs a high symbolic punch in the form of a padlock with a key. Now, these love locks have caught on all across Europe, and we checked out sagging bridges in Cologne, Paris and Rome to see why this custom is suddenly key for so many couples.
The Hohenzollern Bridge near Cologne's famous cathedral connects the two banks of the Rhine. Hundreds of trains and thousands of pedestrians cross it daily, but the bridge is also a place of pilgrimage for lovers. They've affixed tens of thousands of padlocks to its south side, and more are added each day. Levent Akkerlin and Olga Ramanchik have arranged to meet here today. They've been a couple for 3 years now. Together they attach a padlock engraved with their names on it on the bridge and toss the keys into the Rhine. And what are they wishing for?
That love lasts forever. At least our love. If you immortalize yourself on the bridge, your love should last too.
Right.
Permanently.
That's what many couples hope for, not just in Cologne but around the world. In Paris, love locks hang on the Pont des Arts. They're found in Prague, as well as in Moscow, where they're hung on trees. It's the same in the Korean capital, Seoul. And in China, you'll find them along the Great Wall. Academics are now taking an interest in this social development. In 2008, ethnologist Dagmar Hennel started researching the origins of the trend. She discovered countless examples of love locks appearing in China.
We thought, bingo, that's the origin. It's something religious, perhaps an old Asian tradition. But we soon realized they were put there by Western tourists and that it's not an old tradition. It became clear that these love locks are a ritual of our globalized, media-dominated society. And it's impossible to say how it all started. It popped up around the globe and caught on like wildfire.
Italian writer Federico Moccia might have played a key role too. His best-selling novel I Want You from 2006 includes a scene featuring a love lock on the Ponte Milvio Bridge in Rome. And he did something to make it even more authentic.
The night before the book was published, I came to the bridge and hung a chain with a padlock on it around the third lamppost, just as I described in my book.
Soon after, the love story appeared on the silver screen. It was one of Italy's biggest box office hits of 2007 and an inspiration for millions of couples.
Per sempre. Per sempre.
The Ponte Milvio became a place of pilgrimage for young couples. There hang thousands of locks on it. The city keeps removing them to protect the historic bridge. But love always finds a way, or a new place for its locks, like the Monte Mario northwest of Rome, now one of the most romantic spots in the region.
This development was a huge surprise to me. It's interesting the way something that at first was just for fun suddenly turned into a trend, even a legend. People come here from all over, even from abroad, and join in.
It was probably tourists who first brought the custom to Cologne. The cult Rhineland band Die Höhner helped it along with their 2009 song Give Me Your Heart. The demand for padlocks has been rising ever since. Online shops for custom-engraved padlocks are popping up as well. Cologne's Finest is a one-man operation and delivers all over the world.
Word spread rapidly through social media networks like Facebook and Twitter around the world, and I get orders from every age group.
The world may seem to be full of loving couples, but in fact, 1 of 3 marriages in Germany fails. More and more people are living alone. Some think this inspires couples to find an enduring symbol of their love, and not just for themselves.
They hang it on a bridge in a public space. Thousands of people go by every day. So it becomes this couple's statement against the statistics, implying that relationships don't necessarily last a lifetime. This is a statement to society at large that they love each other. It will work out and it will last.
The couples on Cologne's Hohenzollern Bridge at least seem convinced. Some come back every year to renew their commitment. And just to make sure, in their case, Levent and Olga throw the spare key away as well.
Well, it's one of the smallest nations in Europe and is actually referred to as a microstate, the Principality of Andorra, which is located in the eastern end of the Pyrenees mountain range, squeezed in between France and Spain. Now, it's home to about 85,000 people, most of whom live in Andorra la Vella, which is also the highest capital in Europe. It nevertheless has lots of traffic, as some 10 million tourists come there every year, mostly to enjoy the terrific conditions in winter. And we checked out the action on and off-piste and a high adrenaline sport called speed riding.
Many tourists come to Andorra just for the shopping. The microstate is duty-free, making alcohol, cigarettes, and luxury goods relatively cheap. But it's also home to the biggest skiing area in the Pyrenees. Andorra's mountain range attracts tourists mainly from France and Spain. Sven Kirchner from Germany first visited 3 years ago and keeps coming back.
People here are noticeably relaxed. There's a different atmosphere at the ski lift. It's less hectic. People aren't elbowing their way forward. There's a more Mediterranean feel.
Arcalisval Nord in northwestern Andorra is one of the country's 5 ski resorts. It's a perfect spot for speed riding, aka speed flying, which is a cross between paragliding and skiing. An avid snowboarder, Sven Kirchner is trying it out for the first time today. A tandem run costs 45 euros.
And normally they are good skiers, and maybe the first time, like the first run, they are a little bit scared, but they learn how to work, how the paraglide is working, and they start to ski, and they feel so much confidence in a couple runs.
And they're off. Sven Kirchner has to keep his skis parallel to avoid falling. The sail is smaller than a paraglider's, which makes it all much faster. Speed riders can reach velocities of up to 90 kilometers an hour.
My knees are knocking, not from fear, but because I'm so blown away. Speed riding's amazing, it really is. I can only recommend it. I'm not a great skier, but it's incredible. I'm going to start skiing more, to have even more fun.
In the capital, Andorra la Vella, winter sports enthusiasts don't even need snow. The city's latest attraction is the new 360 degrees Extreme Center. There are only 3 other such complexes in the world. The advantage over snowy slopes is that there's less risk of injury. It's a good idea for novices to start out with dry runs. Spanish snowboarding professional Bernard Ripoll lives most of the year in the US and Austria, but comes to Andorra to train.
When I'm in Spain, I'm in Andorra. I mean, if I'm in Spain, I'm not in Spain, I'm in Andorra. It's like staying in Andorra is like staying in Spain. Like, people speak Catalan, it's like the same language in Barcelona.
Back in the mountains. Arcalisval Nord is also well known for its off-piste opportunities. There's no shortage of unsecured slopes that can be reached by ski lift. Sven Kirchner likes to leave the crowds behind. Before he takes off, he activates his avalanche airbag and transceiver.
You only need to go 20 meters and it's amazing. You're suddenly all by yourself, away from all the hustle and bustle. The Alps are much busier, it has to be said.
He's been coming here for 3 years. But even now, Sven Kirchner from Frankfurt is still discovering uncharted territory in Andorra.
There's so much here. On the slopes, off the slopes, a bit of carving, working up a bit of speed. Thanks to the weather, the slopes are perfect. What more could you want?
Andorra. It may be small, but offers big opportunities for winter sports fans.
Well, this year we're celebrating 50 years of Franco-German friendship in Germany and France, and they are a perfect example of what it has achieved. The Berlin-based label Augustin Teboul is a German-French designer duo that fascinates the fashion world for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's uncompromisingly consistent in terms of its look and works only in the color black. And secondly, they manage a mix between haute couture and pret-à-porter, in which fine craftsmanship plays a major role. Well, not an easy set of credentials, and yet they pull it off.
Striking a balance between delicate and feminine on the one hand, and dark and dangerous on the other, Augustin Teboul's collection at Berlin Fashion Week lived up to the label's reputation for rich details and complex designs. Augustin Teboul and Annelie Augustin founded their label nearly 3 years ago. Today, they're one of the hottest tickets on Berlin's fashion scene. Annelie hails from Germany, Augustin from France, and they think that makes them the perfect team.
Cooperation between Germany and France? Well, I don't know about that, but Annelie and I get along well. Why are we a good example of German-French cooperation? We eat sausage-stuffed croissant.
The duo's studio is in the Berlin district of Neukölln. The label is carried by stores around the world. Items carry a designer price tag of up to 5,000 euros. A photo shoot of their latest collection. The designers are shooting with an antique instant camera. They want the pictures to have an old-fashioned quality, but at the same time look as contemporary as their avant-garde designs. The trademark look is all black. It allows the designers to concentrate on the finer points. Sequins, pearls, leather, and lace are staples of each collection. Augustin takes care of the artisan work, while Annelie devises the overall concept.
The beret is the French influence.
Yeah, the beret is French.
And what's German about it? The dirndl?
The small dots are German.
We'll have to see when it's finished.
The pair met in Paris at the renowned Esmod Fashion School. Each admired the other's distinctive look and fashion sense.
I wanted to get to know her. The reason was really superficial. I just liked how she dressed. Annelie also wore her hair in a banana twist. I thought it was cool.
Augustin was one of those people at school who wore particularly bright clothes. They caught your attention. You could tell straight away that she was someone special.
The duo first teamed up after their studies, purely by chance. Augustin was looking for somewhere to stay, so Annelie offered her her couch. They immediately hit it off. The secret to their success? Teamwork.
When you work on something with another person, you learn how to share things. So it's no longer just your work, but a piece of teamwork. You have to go with what the other person wants.
Berlin has proven an inspiring home base for this duo. Augustin Teboul, a French-German label that's going places.
Well, if you'd like to find out more about Euromaxx, feel free to visit our website. And that does bring us to the end of our Highlights edition. So until we meet again, all the best from Berlin and auf Wiedersehen.